Good night, everyone. I want to, first of all, thank you for participating in my speech. My topic tonight will be about children living in poverty in the U.S. Our children are the future of tomorrow, and we are living in a very wealthy nation, and yet we have so many children living in poverty. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 14.7 million children are living in poverty, or 19.9% of our children are living in poverty. What is poverty? Poverty is not a new concept. As expressed by Lyndon B. Johnson in his State of the Union address on January 8, 1964. He declared a war on poverty and went on to state that poverty is a national problem. And for the war against poverty to be won in Washington, it must be in the field, it must be in a private home, and in every public office, from our courthouse to the White House. In 1964, the poverty rate was at 15%, and today we are at 19%. That is an alarming statistics. In the state of poverty is when you lack social acceptable amount of material resources. The definition that we are using today is that you are deprived of housing in some cases, food, water, health care in some cases, and that is has a great impact on our children. We have two types of poverty. Absolute poverty is the lack of more than basic needs over a longer period of time. And it can cause harm, whether it's emotional harm, physical harm, because we're hungry, we need to eat. That is some of the instances of absolute poverty. We also have relative poverty, in which in most cases it is circumstantial. You, in some cases, you lose your job, you're forced to go into a shelter, you divorce, you left single mother with no resources, nowhere to go. That is what we describe as relative poverty. It's a situation that puts us in that dilemma. We have some children in poverty that requires more attention than others. The children's lives are affected so negatively when they are in need of food or when they are in a poverty situation. Sometimes it leads them to a self of hopelessness and insecurity, not knowing whether or not you have a place to sleep at night or you will have food to eat. Social and emotional behavior can eventually lead to, in your adult life, you have, it pass on. You become very situational sometimes. And the adverse effects on child development too is that it lower your thinking ability. You have problems in school. And another scenario would be malnutrition. Is another case where poverty leads to that type of situation. Another thing is the health care when we can't afford health care for our children, they suffer a lot sometimes in terms of physical health, mental health, and they're not able to be stable. Child poverty in the United States exists despite a range of social services designed to reduce or alleviate this problem. The causes of poverty may be contributed to economic downturn, the rate of employment, housing and mortgage crisis. Like I mentioned before, single mother living with kids, you have to maintain your children, and many suffer in domestic abuse. The federal poverty level threshold is 23,823 according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And in conclusion, I want to state the fact that our children are our future, and we have to ensure that they get as much help in reducing some of these factors. And I want to thank you all for coming out again. Any questions? Yes, ma'am?
Why do you think the different states have different rates? Do you think there are factors that determine like why certain states have a higher poverty level than others?
Yes, definitely so. That's a state here. Yes, it does. Some factors could be the economic situation in that particular state could lead to poverty level being at a lower rate in some cases, and employment plays a major factor in that as well, because if the employment rate is high in one state, then more than likely the poverty rate will be less. So that accounts for that.
I think the type of employment in different areas is relative to the amount of poverty. Like, say, like the areas that make cars, you probably have a lot of employment, but then you really can't say because Detroit.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about Detroit.
And like in the farm belt, you know, food, you'll probably have lower unemployment in that area. You think so? Or a lower poverty rate.
I think the lower poverty rate has a lot to do with, this is just my opinion, how the government, they distribute some of the assistance, because I have read whereby it is so tedious for somebody to go in and apply for these benefits. So I think it all depends on the help that the individual could get in some cases, and it plays a big role, because a lot of these processes takes time, and it is time consuming, and some of them don't have anybody to help them to complete their application.
Okay, children living in poverty. The subject is, for the audience, I think it gained attention and or interest. The topic was related to the audience. You gave a preview of the main points. It was somewhat organized, you know, but it was good. Some of your support you gave support for it, like your examples and your the percentage and all that. The audience gained a lot of new information, I think, from it. You appeared confident. The volume was appropriate. You could have avoided some filters like and you use expressive body language, good posture. Yeah, overall, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.